In the heart of the ancient Valley of Oaks, where sunlight dances through thick canopies and the air hums with the whispers of nature, lived Whiskers, a golden tabby cat with a knack for baking. His tiny wooden kitchen sat nestled between towering oak trees, their gnarled branches stretching like ancient guardians. One crisp morning, Whiskers was busy kneading dough, the scent of fresh bread wafting through the valley, curling around leaves and drifting into the sky. Little did he know, something or someone was watching.
Oh, what a perfect day for bread!
A little flour, a pinch of yeast, and soon the whole valley will smell like heaven. But as the smoke from his oven spiraled upward, the ground trembled. A low groan echoed through the valley, like the creak of old wood stretching awake. From the earth rose the mightiest oak of all, a colossal tree 10 times taller than the rest. Its roots ripped free, stomping like giant legs, and its branches thrashed like angry arms. The living oak monster had awoken, and it wasn't happy.
Who dares fill my valley with this choking smoke? I've slept for centuries, undisturbed, and now you ruin my peace, little cat.
Oh, my Whiskers! A talking tree? I didn't mean any harm. I just wanted to bake some bread.
The oak monster loomed closer, its shadow swallowing Whiskers' tiny kitchen. Leaves rustled furiously as it swung a branch, smashing a nearby rock to bits. Whiskers ducked, his heart racing, but then an idea sparked. He remembered the jar of golden honey on his shelf. Maybe, just maybe, he could calm this beast with something sweet.
Wait! How about a peace offering? I'll make you the biggest, sweetest loaf you've ever seen, topped with honey from the valley bees.
Honey, you say? I haven't tasted sweetness in 1,000 years. Fine, prove your worth, cat. But if it's not good, I'll crush your little oven to splinters.
Whiskers sprang into action. He mixed, kneaded, and baked faster than ever before, his paws a blur. Soon, a massive loaf emerged from the oven, golden, crusty, and dripping with honey. He carried it to the oak monster and placed it at its roots, stepping back with a hopeful grin.
Here you go, big fella. One honey-drizzled masterpiece, just for you.
This scent, it's delightful.
The oak monster's roots curled gently around the bread, lifting it to a hollow in its trunk. It took a slow, savoring bite, and the valley fell silent. Then, with a deep sigh, the tree lowered its branches, its anger melting away. The roots sank back into the earth, and the monster settled down, content.
You're a clever one, cat. This is better than sleep. You may keep your fire and your feast.
Phew! Glad you liked it. How about joining us? There's plenty more where that came from.
And so, the valley came alive with laughter and chatter. Whiskers' friends, squirrels, rabbits, and even a curious fox gathered around the oak monster's roots, sharing bread and stories. The sunlight streamed through the leaves, painting golden patterns on the ground, and the once fearsome tree stood watch, now a gentle giant with a taste for honey. Whiskers smiled, knowing he'd turned a monster into a friend.
See? A little bread and a lot of heart can fix just about anything. Now, who's hungry?
Deep in the heart of an autumn pine forest, where the leaves glowed like embers under a crisp blue sky, Whiskers the orange cat was hosting the barbecue of the season. The air was thick with the smoky scent of sizzling meat, wafting through the trees and tickling the noses of every creature within a mile. Whiskers stood over his makeshift grill, a flat rock balanced on a pile of stones, flipping slabs of juicy meat with a stick, his little paws barely keeping up with the flames.
All right, gang, who's ready for round 2? This batch is gonna be crispy on the outside, tender on the inside, just how we like it.
His friends, a squirrel named Nutmeg and a hedgehog called Prickles, chattered excitedly nearby, their mouths watering as they gathered around a pile of pine cones they'd turned into a picnic table. But unbeknownst to them, something else had caught wind of the feast. Something big, something hungry. From the shadows of the crimson tree slunk a massive red fox, its fur glinting like fire in the afternoon sun. This wasn't your average fox. It stood as tall as a sapling, its amber eyes glowing with a hunger that hadn't been satisfied since the dry summer months. It sniffed the air, licked its chops, and let out a bone-rattling howl.
That meat, it's mine. Hand it over, little cook, or I'll swallow your whole picnic in one gulp.
Whoa, big guy. No need to get all snarly. There's plenty to go around. Let's talk this out, huh?
The fox didn't look like it wanted to chat. It took a step closer, its claws sinking into the damp earth, leaving prints the size of dinner plates. Nutmeg squeaked and hid behind Prickles, who puffed up his spines in a feeble attempt to look tough. Whiskers, though, had a plan. He grabbed the biggest slab of meat from the grill, a juicy, glistening hunk dripping with fat, and waved it in the air.
Hey, Foxy, how about a deal? You want meat? I've got the best piece right here. Catch!
With a flick of his wrist, Whiskers hurled the meat far into the underbrush, where it landed with a satisfying thud among the fallen leaves. The fox's ears perked up, its nose twitching like it had just won the lottery. Without a second thought, it bounded after the prize, crashing through the bushes like a furry freight train.
Did it work? Is it gone?
I could have taken him, you know. My spines are basically weapons.
Sure, Prickles. Let's just say I saved your spines the trouble.
The friends watched as the fox devoured the meat in the distance, its tail wagging like a victory flag. After a few minutes of noisy chomping, it let out a satisfied burp that echoed through the forest, then slunk away into the trees, leaving nothing but massive paw prints in the mud. Whiskers turned back to the grill, tossing on a fresh batch of meat as the cool autumn breeze rustled the pines above.
Well, folks, looks like we've got the forest to ourselves again. Who's up for seconds?
Me, but maybe keep an eye out for bears this time.
Or wolves. Or dragons. You never know in this forest.
And so, under a canopy of falling leaves, Whiskers and his crew feasted late into the afternoon, the crackle of the fire blending with their laughter. The forest settled back into its quiet rhythm, the scent of barbecue fading into the wind, until the next adventure, of course. Want to hear more tales from Whiskers Wild Forest? Hit that subscribe button and ring the bell, because in this neck of the woods, every meal comes with a story. In a vibrant flower garden bursting with colors, Whiskers the cat was on a mission. His fluffy paws danced through the rows of blossoms as he hummed a little tune, gathering the prettiest petals for his famous flower salad. The sun was shining, the birds were chirping, and the air buzzed with the sound of bees flitting around the purple blooms. Little did Whiskers know, his peaceful day was about to take a stingy turn.
Oh, these daisies will add such a zesty crunch. And these violets? Perfectly sweet. My guests are going to love the salad.
But as Whiskers reached for a particularly plump lavender flower, a big, grumpy bee zoomed out of nowhere. It wasn't happy about Whiskers invading its territory. With a loud buzz, the bee dive-bombed and stung Whiskers right on his paw.
Ouch! My paw! You little buzzing monster! Why'd you do that?
Whiskers dropped his basket of flowers, clutching his stinging paw. Tears welled up in his big green eyes as he hopped around on one leg, yowling dramatically. The garden, once a place of joy, now felt like a battlefield.
I just wanted a salad, not a war. Oh, this hurts so much. I'll never finish now.
Thought Whiskers wasn't one to give up easily. Wiping his tears with a fluffy paw, he hatched a plan. He spotted a pile of dry twigs nearby and, with a determined glint in his eye, limped over to start a small fire. Soon, a plume of smoke rose into the air, swirling around the flowers. The bees, annoyed by the smoke, buzzed off in a huff, leaving Whiskers victorious.
Take that, you stingy pests. This garden's mine again.
With the bees gone, Whiskers got back to work. He gathered his scattered petals, added a sprinkle of herbs he'd stashed in his apron, and whipped up the most beautiful flower salad you've ever seen. That evening, his friends arrived, Squeaky the mouse, Hoppy the rabbit, and even grumpy old Mr. All. They sat around a little table in the garden, munching happily.
Whiskers, this is amazing. What's your secret?
Yeah, it's like a party in my mouth.
Oomph. Not bad, kid. Not bad at all.
Oh, Just a little love and a lot of smoke. You should have seen me outsmart those bees today.
As the sun set over the garden, Whiskers leaned back in his chair, his sore paw forgotten. The sting was worth it for the smiles on his friends' faces. And somewhere in the distance, a certain bee buzzed grumpily, plotting its next move, but that's a story for another day.